Discover how a little girl's heartwarming touch to a CEO changed 1,000 lives forever. Incredible. Lily stood in the crowded hospital lobby, her heart pounding like a drum. The buzz of sick children and worried parents filled the air, but one conversation sliced through the chaos. A faceless man in a sharp suit, a powerful CEO of a tech giant, stood talking loudly to a small group of executives. "We're not here to solve every problem," he scoffed. "Investing in some community project isn't going to make a dent in our bottom line." At that moment, Lily's innocence shattered. She felt the weight of her single mother's struggles, the sleepless nights worrying about bills, and the sacrifice that loomed large ever since her father was deployed. She realized hope and hardship hung so closely together in her world. Weeks passed since that fateful day, but the CEO's words haunted her. Determined, Lily gathered a stack of colorful paper and colored pens. She poured her feelings into handwritten letters, narrating the stories of her neighborhood, the elderly couple down the street struggling with groceries, the young mother with 3 kids, and an empty pantry. Each letter surged with emotion, layered with her own childhood simplicity, but filled with the raw truth of her community's challenges. With her few dollars saved from chores, Lily bought essential items. A few bars of soap, packets of pasta, warm socks, all lovingly tucked into makeshift care packages. With each door she knocked on, she felt a flicker of hope light up in her chest. "Can you help me?" she asked her neighbors. "Let us share our stories. Let us show them we're not just numbers." Slowly, her friends joined the effort, making their own packages, writing their own letters. There was power in unity as children and adults alike began to share their struggles and triumphs. Yet, not everyone was on board. One afternoon, while she was setting up a booth at the local park, she was confronted by the very CEO she had overheard. His sharp gaze cut through her youthful determination. "What do you know about business?" he challenged. "You're just a child." But as she looked up into his eyes, something fierce ignited inside her. "I know that communities should matter and that kindness can change hearts. Don't you care?" The shock on his face spoke volumes, but Lily didn't waver. With every ounce of courage, she insisted that compassion is more powerful than profit. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As news of Lily's unwavering spirit spread, a local journalist caught wind of the story. Articles began to surface, featuring her letters and the outpouring of affection from the community. Donations rolled in. Her hometown opened up, hearts expanding, as they rallied together, proving that hope could flourish in the harshest conditions. The CEO watched from the shadows, realization dawning upon him. Perhaps there was more at stake here. Perhaps real wealth wasn't just measured in dollars. But what would this mean for him? Tension hummed under the surface. As the community rallied with newfound strength, one question lingered. Would this powerful man finally embrace the change he so desperately needed? Or would he turn his back on the very kindness that could transform lives? The answer hung precariously in the air, echoing with hope and doubt, leaving everyone, especially Lily, wondering what would happen next. The next morning, Lily woke up with the sun streaming through her window. The rays danced across her room, catching the glimmer of hope in her heart. Each day felt bright with possibilities now, as if the world was finally listening. Over breakfast, her mother, who was usually exhausted, smiled a little broader today, her eyes sparkling with pride. "You're making a difference, Lily," she said, squeezing her daughter's hand. Those words were like a warm hug, wrapping around Lily's spirit and pushing her forward. With her small team of friends, Lily decided it was time to expand the care package initiative. They gathered in their backyard, the swings creaking softly in the breeze as they brainstormed. "What if we make it a community event?" suggested Mia, her best friend. "We could invite everyone to help fill the packages." The idea ignited a fire in all of them. They could turn their mission into a movement. Word spread quickly, buoyed by the articles circulating around town. That Saturday, The park transformed into a bustling hub of laughter and friendship. Tables were set with colorful decorations, and volunteers of all ages gathered with smiles, eager to help create care packages filled with love and necessity. The atmosphere thrummed with excitement as cardboard boxes piled up, each one holding promises of support for those in need. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink, Lily noticed the familiar silhouette of the CO emerging through the crowd. He moved through the gathering, his expression shifting from skepticism to curiosity. People waved, calling out to him as if he were an unexpected guest. The air thickened with anticipation. Would he join in? Would he finally lend a hand? Lily's heart raced as she approached him. "You came," she exclaimed, a mix of nervousness and delight bubbling in her voice. His brow furrowed slightly, but there was a new softness in his eyes. "I wanted to see what this was all about," he replied, his tone revealing vulnerability. "Then help us," she urged, her passion spilling over. "Every box we fill means a family gets what they need." He hesitated, observing the smiling faces around him, people he'd previously seen as merely statistics. His gaze softened even more, and something inside him began to shift. He picked up a box, reaching for the items displayed on the table, joining the flow of laughter and collaboration. As they worked side by side, complex emotions surged between them. Lily's unwavering faith, the CEO's hesitant compassion. Something beautiful was unfolding, the bond between them signaling a shift in the air, charging the atmosphere with hope and change. Hours passed, and as the last box was sealed up, the sun dipped below the horizon. Lily felt a growing sense of accomplishment, yet her heart whispered there was more to come. "Thank you," she told him, her voice barely above a whisper. "You matter in this, you know." The CEO paused, something shifting in his eyes. "Maybe I can start to understand that it's not just about profits," he admitted, the weight of those words hanging heavily between them. But just as the moment reached its peak, a sudden shout of alarm pierced through the silence. A group of teenagers, laughing too loudly, accidentally knocked over a stack of filled boxes. The packages scattered everywhere, a jumble of supplies turning into chaos, and the joyous mood turned tense. Lily's stomach dropped. She looked to the CEO, searching for assurance. Would he stay, or would he slip back into his old mindset? Would everything they'd built together come crashing down? The tension mounted as they both rushed to help. The question loomed large. In this moment of crisis, would they rise together? Or would they falter, letting chaos dismantle their newfound connection? As she reached out to steady a falling box, a fleeting feeling stirred in her, a mixture of hope and anxiety. What happened next would decide everything. Lily's heart raced as she skidded to grab a box teetering on the edge, her fingers brushing against the worn cardboard. Around her, chaos unfurled, brightly colored items spilling out like a strange confetti, laughter fading fast into whispers of concern. The atmosphere that had once been vibrant turned thick with tension. "Over here," she called out, guiding a few nearby friends towards the scattered supplies. Together, they dove into the mess, laughter rekindling as they joked about the care package avalanche. But deep down, fear twisted like a knot in Lily's stomach. She couldn't afford to lose momentum now. They had built so much in such a short time. The CEO was next to her now, that same mix of uncertainty and determination etched across his features. "Let us get it cleaned up," he said, his voice slightly shaky but resolute. She felt a surge of hope. His willingness to jump in showed he was still connected, still grounding himself in this moment. They worked side by side, the full truth of the day settling in as boxes were righted. Each package they salvaged felt like a small victory, a testament to resilience. The crowd's murmurs softened, replaced by soft laughter as they began to turn the disaster into a cooperative game. Volunteers came forward, rolling up sleeves and smiling, finding purpose amidst the chaos. "Hey, look, a puzzle!" a little girl exclaimed, giggling as she held up an oversized piece of cardboard. That innocent laughter echoed what Lily was feeling inside, the simple joy of working together. The more they handled it as a united front, the more the unease melted away. As they restored order, the CEO and Lily exchanged glances, a precious understanding passing between them. There was something empowering about witnessing the community rally together, and Lily realized that perhaps this was what they had needed, a test of their commitment. Finally, as the last box was lifted upright, a cheer erupted around them. "We did it!" Mia shouted, bounding over to give Lily a high five. It felt infectious. The spirit of determination was contagious, wrapping everyone in warmth. Lily looked up to see the CEO, his stern facade almost entirely gone. A smile played on his lips, and her heart soared. "Thank you," he said, genuinely, as he stepped closer. "I didn't realize how much impact these little things could have, right?" Lily beamed, feeling the spark between them grow brighter. "It's all about the connection. We do this together. Every little bit counts." As they stood among the organized chaos, the sky above began to darken, stars peeking through. A soft breeze whispered by, carrying with it echoes of laughter, a promise, and Lily felt something unshakable in her heart. Just then, the CEO's phone buzzed insistently in his pocket. He paused, his gaze distracted for a moment. The laughter around them muted in the background as he pulled it out, brows knitting together when he saw the screen. The frown returned, a shadow creeping back into his demeanor. "What is it?" Lily asked, her excitement fading slightly. He glanced up, his eyes troubled. "It's about the charity meeting next week. They might want to change the entire plan." Her stomach dropped once more, the warmth of earlier slipping away. Just as they were beginning to understand each other, the looming pressures of his world threatened to pull him back. Would his heart, so recently softened, withstand the weight of expectations? Would he revert to the cold depths of corporate conformity that had so often defined him? As reality threatened to dim their moment, she braced herself for the new challenge ahead. The clock ticked on. What decision would he make? Lily watched as the CEO's expression shifted. The warmth of the moment slipped away, replaced by the weight of responsibility. It was like witnessing the sun being engulfed by a shadow, transforming joy into uncertainty. "Hold on," she stammered, grasping for the threads of positivity they had woven together throughout the day. "What do you mean, change the plan? Isn't this what we need to bring the community together?" He ran a hand through his hair, his eyes clouded with worry. "They want to make it more corporate, more streamlined. They don't see the value in the community aspect." Lily felt a chill run down her spine. This man had just experienced the power of connection and collaboration. But look around. Look at what we just accomplished. We can't let that get lost. His frown deepened, the lines on his forehead etched deeper. "I agree with you, Lily, but you know how these meetings go. There's pressure from the board." His voice softened. "They don't understand. They're not here like we are. They don't see the smiles, the lives we touch." Taking a deep breath, Lily straightened her shoulders, searching for the right words to pierce through his uncertainty. "Then show them, prove it. Bring them here. Let them experience this energy. Let them see how it feels to be part of something bigger." For a moment, a flicker of hope ignited in his eyes. "I'd love to invite them, but it's complicated. What if they push back? What if they don't?" She challenged, her heart beating louder as determination took the reins. "What if they see the real impact? What if they leave inspired?" He stared at her, searching her face as if trying to read her thoughts. The way he looked at her, there was admiration, yes, but also something deeper, something vulnerable. She could almost see the battle within him, torn between obligation and desire for genuine connection. "Lily," he started, his voice barely above a whisper. "I thought those days were far behind me. I thought I had to conform to that world. But being here, with all of you, has changed something inside me." The sky deepened to an indigo blue, pinpoints of stars twinkling like 1,000 hopes. Around them, people continued to gather, chattering about the success of the day, their eyes bright with enthusiasm. He looked away briefly, absorbing the sights, the sounds, the collective achievement. Lily leaned in, urgency threading her tone. "Then don't go back. Lead with your heart instead of the corporate guidebook. Show them how ordinary people can do extraordinary things together." His eyes met hers again, and for the first time, she saw a glimmer of hope unravel in the depths of his shadows. "You might be onto something." The words were slow, carefully unfolding, but they had the weight of potential. Before he could say more, Mia, the little girl with the oversized puzzle piece, joined them, her innocent curiosity shining. "Are you two okay? Why do you look serious?" Lily knelt beside Mia, her heart softening. "We're talking about how to help even more people than we already are." "Can I help?" she chirped, her energy radiant. A smile broke on the CEO's face, lifting the weight of worry for a moment. Of course, kiddo. We're counting on you. As the three of them stood together, a small team bonded by a common purpose, Lily felt a spark igniting, the first flicker of a new direction. Could they really do this? Could they challenge the corporate giants with a heart bigger than the boardroom? The night air thrummed with possibility, and she realized, for the first time, that everything they had worked for could hinge on this moment. Yet the question loomed in her mind. Would he be brave enough to take the plunge? Would he risk everything for hope? As they turned back toward the continuing celebration, the CEO's phone buzzed again, a reminder that decisions had to be made, and time was running out. What path would he choose to take? As the laughter and chatter of the celebration swirled around them, the CEO glanced once more at his phone, its screen lighting up with reminders of meetings that felt drab against the vibrant pulse of the community gathering around him. He pocketed the device with a huff, a small act of defiance. But even in that moment of rebellion, doubt wove itself through his thoughts. What if they see this as a distraction? He murmured, more to himself than to Lily and Mia, who looked up at him with bright eyes. Lily knelt a little closer to Mia, her voice steady yet filled with warmth. It's only a distraction if they choose not to be present. If they come and see this, the connections, the joy they understand. Mia bounced on her toes, the oversized puzzle piece in her hands a symbol of the unity they had all worked toward. I think they love it. Everyone loves fun. The little girl's optimism cut through the uncertainty like a ray of sunlight. The CEO chuckled softly, his tension easing just a fraction. You might be right, kiddo. Sometimes, fun is the best persuasion of all. That tiny glimmer of hope within him surged, fueled by Mia's innocence and determination. But what would it take to summon the courage he needed? He looked at Lily. You really think they would see it? The board members, I mean. I know they would, she replied, her voice steady, unwavering. And you need to believe that too. You've seen what this community can do. Don't underestimate the power of what you felt today. He let her words settle in, observing the sea of smiling faces around them, families, friends, neighbors, strangers united in the celebration. It was true. These moments didn't just uplift them. They transformed the very fabric of their lives. Maybe it was time to fight for that. Just then, a buzz of excitement rippled through the crowd. A local band began to play, and soon laughter erupted as more people joined in, dancing and clapping to the infectious beat. Mia jumped up, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Let us dance. Before he knew it, she tugged at his hand, pulling him to the center of the festivity. Reluctantly, he followed the enthusiasm of the children, but as they reached the heart of the celebration, something inside him shifted. Laughter poured out, filling the space around them. He began to move, to sway, to feel like part of this collective heartbeat, made alive by vibrant joy. Mia squealed in delight, and even Lily joined in, their laughter blending with the music. For a moment, he was free. Distractions melted away. Maybe leading with the heart wasn't just a choice. It felt like a necessity. As the notes spilled into the night and the energy surged, he felt the weight of his previous decisions lift. Could he really gather the board, those distant faces in suits, and share this thread of connection? Suddenly, he knew he had to do it. He would arrange the meeting. He'd invite them here, into the pulse of this community. He would risk the pushback because it was worth it. They would come to see not just an event, but the power of what they had built together. But as the moment danced away, a familiar tension crept back. Would he have the support needed from the board? Would they even care? Through all the tumult, a thought emerged. Change begins with courage and action, doesn't it? He needed to lead, to inspire that same feeling in others. Let us bring them in, he shouted over the music, the words bursting forth from a place of newfound strength. Let them feel this. Mia cheered, a testament to the truth in his statement. But as he stood before Lily, a glint of fear danced in his heart, marking the tip of a new challenge. Was it truly a step forward, or just an emotional high? The next day would come, and real decisions would have to be made. As night deepened around them, he realized this was only the beginning, charging ahead with newfound resolve or falling back into fear. Tomorrow would demand bravery. Would he find it? Would they all? The sun peeked through the curtains the next morning, casting soft golden beams across the CEO's room. He stirred awake, the weight of his decision pressing heavily on his chest. The memories of last night, the laughter, the dancing, the vibrant community swirled in his mind like a whirlwind. He sat up, rubbing his face with his hands. What if I can't convince them? The fear crept in, whispering doubts that drowned out the joy he had felt. But Mia's radiant smile and Lily's unwavering support flickered like a beacon in the haze. As he prepared for the day, he reflected on the board meeting set for later. He recalled the empty faces around that long, polished table, a sea of cold smiles and formal handshakes. Today would be different, wouldn't it? He would channel the energy of the celebration, spread it like wildfire through that room. Arriving at the office, the atmosphere buzzed with the usual Monday grind. Phones rang, printers whirred, and employees hurried by, each engulfed in their own responsibilities. It felt strangely sterile compared to last night. He paused, glancing down the hallway toward the conference room. It felt like stepping into a different world, one that had no connection to the free-spirited laughter of the celebration. His palms grew clammy. "Hey, you okay?" His assistant, Jenna, approached, a curious brow raised. "Yeah, just thinking about the meeting today. Are you going to introduce the event?" she asked, a hint of excitement in her tone. He nodded slowly, guilt lacing his heart. "I want to, but I don't know if they relate. They're all about numbers and profits. Maybe show them how those numbers can change lives." Jenna's eyes sparkled with conviction. They're just waiting for someone to open their eyes. A flicker of hope lit within him. Maybe he wouldn't have to face this alone. As the hour drew near, he moved to the conference room, each step heavier than the last. Faces from the night before flashed before his eyes, Mia dancing, Lily smiling, the warmth of the community enveloping him. He inhaled deeply, summoning that energy. The board members filtered in, each taking their seats, a stern look shielding their eyes. "Good morning, everyone," he began, his voice steady but tinged with vulnerability. "I want to talk about something that happened over the weekend, something that means more than any profit margin." Cliché frowns turned to curious glances, and for an instant, he saw it, a crack in their armor. "I attended a community celebration where families came together for fun, connection, and joy. It was full of laughter. This is nice, but we're here to discuss the quarterly." One board member interjected, his tone tightly wound. "Yes, and that's important," he snapped back, feeling anger bubble. "But do you even understand how interwoven our success is with the community's happiness?" Lily's words echoed in his mind as he continued. He described the connections that blossomed at the event and how the community thrived on unity and trust. He could feel their guarded demeanor shift, just slightly, but enough for him to press on. "Imagine if we leverage this. If we show them we're invested in their lives, what would they become? More than customers," he added, allowing passion to swell in his voice. A moment of silence fell over the room, the weight of his words lingering in the air. "Interesting perspective," someone finally murmured, but the same doubts echoed inside him. But he pushed forward. "Let's make this a movement. Let us invite them to feel what we felt. Let's show them that a company can mean so much more when it's built on love and connection." As he talked, he noticed Mia's oversized puzzle piece flashing in memory, a symbol of unity, and he was finally ready to piece it together. But just as hope sparked at the table, the same old voice piped up again. "And if it fails? Our investors won't take this kindly." His heart sank as fresh doubt crept in. Would the fear of failure crush this chance? Suddenly, a rush of determination ignited him. But what if it doesn't? He met the gazes of the room, determination blazing in his eyes. What if we change everything for the better? Would they listen to him? Would they feel the community pulse he was offering? Just then, a twinge of inspiration struck. "Let us hold a community event right here in this room. Bring the families. Let them see what impact we can create together." Their reactions were mixed, confusion and apprehension playing across their faces, but he sensed something shift, a willingness to entertain the idea, however slight. Tomorrow was bound to be pivotal. Would they embrace the challenge, or would fear win? As he stood there, inspired by hope and that feeling of community, he realized he was at a crossroads that could forever define him as a leader. Would his risk pave the way for transformation? Would this be the moment that brought them back to the heart of why they were in business in the first place? The next morning arrived with an air of jittery anticipation. He could barely contain the excitement bubbling within him. The idea of bringing the community into the conference room felt electrifying. He pictured laughter echoing off the walls, families interacting with board members who usually only regarded them as numbers in spreadsheets. As he got dressed, he glanced at the oversized puzzle piece on his desk. That simple symbol represented so much more than just a decorative item. It embodied hope, unity, and the collaborative spirit they were striving to unleash. Putting on his blazer, he felt more than just fabric against his skin. It was a suit of armor against doubt. When he entered the office, the buzz felt different, alive with energy that hadn't been there the day before. Conversations buzzed with excitement about the upcoming event, and he caught snippets of employees talking animatedly, sharing their own stories of community, connection, and impact. It was infectious. "Hey, you're really doing it, aren't you?" Jenna's voice cut through the din, surprise and admiration etched across her face. "Yeah, I am," he replied, his heart racing with determination. "I think we can turn this into something meaningful." But apprehension lingered like a shadow in the back of his mind. What if I'm only chasing a pipe dream? He wondered momentarily, but he brushed the thought away. The energy around him was undeniable. As lunchtime approached, the conference room filled with employees eager to contribute to the planning of the event. He stood at the front, a slight nervousness in his stance, but that quickly faded as he saw the eagerness in their eyes. Ideas flowed like a river, everyone wanting to bring their passion to the table, whether it was through food, games, or workshops. "Why don't we invite local vendors to showcase their crafts?" suggested one employee. "They need the exposure, and it would be a great way to involve the community." "Yes, imagine the families coming in and seeing the support right here," another added, her eyes lighting up. The discussion rapidly shifted into a whirlwind of creativity. He couldn't help but smile at their enthusiasm. It felt almost contagious. For the first time, that sterile conference room transformed into a space ripe with potential. The boundaries between corporate and community seemed to fade. But then, as quickly as the excitement swelled, a worrisome thought crept back in. What if they had obstacles? The board might still reject the idea, critics might emerge, and even if the community event happened, would it be enough? His heart raced, anxiety gnawing at him. He pushed the doubts aside, anchoring himself in the palpable joy that surrounded him. Later that day, he found a quiet moment in the break room, sipping coffee while staring out the window. He spotted families walking by, children holding hands with parents, laughter spilling from their lips, a scene of simple joy. That's what he wanted to facilitate, to bring that kind of happiness into their business world. As the day wore on, he called a quick meeting with the board members. The room swirled with tension as members settled into their seats, each facing him with skeptical looks. He breathed in deeply, readying himself for another uphill battle. "Today's meeting is to finalize the details for our community event," he announced, struggling to keep his voice steady. Their expressions ranged from surprise to thinly veiled disdain. "Do we really have the budget for this?" One member scoffed. "We're not just budgeting dollars. We're investing in relationships," he countered, heart pounding. "Imagine the stories that will emerge, the impact we can show. This is our chance to connect." He felt invigorated by the challenge, tapping into the passion ignited in the earlier brainstorming session. Their resistance was a spark, fueling him to drill deeper into his convictions. "I want to hear your concerns and address them," he implored, his tone softening. "But think of the possibilities. We're not just companies, we're part of a larger family here. And family means supporting one another." A heavy silence settled in the room, eyes searching each other's faces. He noticed a slight shift, their sternness relaxed, curious glances replacing skeptical frowns. He could almost feel the gears turning in their minds. Yet just as he felt a glimmer of hope rising, an unexpected voice broke through. "And if it falls flat, then what?" He met their gaze, uncertainty lingering. "But what if it doesn't?" The question hung in the air, crystalline and heavy. This was the moment when everything could change: success, failure. It all balanced on the precipice of community action. As their eyes bore down on him, a wave of uncertainty crashed over his confidence, making him wonder if they would truly take the leap. Could he turn the tide? Would they embrace this new direction together? Just then, a voice chimed loudly outside, laughter echoing in the hallway like a beacon of possibility. He closed his eyes, letting the sound wash over him, reminding him why he was fighting this battle. With renewed fire in his heart, he rumbled on. Let us show our community what we stand for. This could be our love letter to them. But what did that love letter truly mean? And could he find the words to write it? That lingering doubt forced him to contemplate, was he ready to step into the unknown and redefine what success truly looked like? The tension in the room felt almost suffocating as he scanned the faces of the board members. It was unnerving how silence could echo loudly, drowning out his racing thoughts. He let out a slow breath, trying to ground himself. The laughter from the hallway still rang in his ears like a soothing balm. It fueled him, reminding him of the purpose behind his urgency. "Look," he started, his voice steadying with determination. "I understand the concern, believe me, I do. But think about it. There are families who seldom see us as anything other than a silhouette in a conference room. This event is a chance for us to step into the light." He paused, allowing vulnerability to seep into his words. "We could truly impact lives." He watched their faces soften, but he knew that wasn't enough. They needed to trigger a story that would resonate, something that cut through the corporate veneer and pierced their hearts. "Just last week, I met a little girl named Emily." He could see their brows raise, curiosity piqued. "She was drawing in the park with her father, and I struck up a conversation with them. Emily is just 8 years old, but her dreams were so vivid she wanted to create a community garden, to grow food for kids in her neighborhood." He could feel the rapture building, knowing he had their attention. He continued, weaving his narrative. But she was hesitant. She needed support. She needed to believe that adults cared enough to help. "That's the love letter I'm speaking of. The one we can send to Emily and all the children out there." A murmur rippled through the room. His heart raced as he pressed on. "If we host this event, we can give her that support. We could show her that dreams don't have to stay dreams. We could plant the seed of hope to encourage her and countless others. We could make them believe. What could be more powerful than that?" He paused to allow their imagination to stir. There was something magical about hope, a certain electricity woven through the fabric of the community. It was palpable. Could they feel it? Finally, a board member leaned forward, searching his eyes. "But what if it's not just about hope? What if we're setting expectations too high? What if we end up disappointing them?" His stomach churned, but he stood firm. "I believe that hope is worth the risk of disappointment. People need dreams to chase. And if we fail, we learn how to do better next time. But if we succeed, if we bring smiles to their faces, the reward transcends monetary value. We create something lasting." More murmurs broke out as doubt dug into various conversation starters. He felt exhilarated, though. It was less about him convincing them and more about them reaching a consensus on something bigger. This wasn't just a company initiative. It was the potential to reshape his company's identity. "Well," another board member said hesitantly, "let us consider the logistics of it all. Could we do it without it bankrupting us?" It was a fair point, and it sparked a cascade of discussions. He listened intently as ideas bounced around, every concern lovingly wrapped in optimism. For every argument against, there seemed a counter-argument full of potential. In the midst of the cacophony, a thought crossed his mind. What if we pooled resources within our own teams? We know artists, gardeners, chefs, all working for our brand. Why not let them bring their talents into this space? Excited chatter rang throughout the room, heads nodding and spirits rising. He could feel the tide turning, the moment of skepticism giving way to possibility. "I think we can do this," one of the original doubters murmured, eyeing the room. "If we pull together, we might just make it happen." Relief washed over him as he glanced at the board's now enthused faces. He was pushing them closer to a shared goal, all eyes shining with a spark he'd only dreamed of igniting. And just as he began to feel the buzz of victory, a new question hung in the air, low and heavy. But what if we get it wrong? It was a daunting thought, one that left him frozen. What could they truly gain from success, and what would it cost them if they failed? As he pondered those questions, that little girl's face flickered in his mind, a poignant reminder of everything he stood for. He realized the answer rested in the hands of the community, in the power of their stories. Transforming fear into faith, it was now or never. With a shared resolve glimmering in the room, he found himself brimming with a new kind of urgency. But as the plan began taking shape, one sun-kissed face kept creeping back into his mind, reminding him just how far he'd go to protect that spark of hope. Would the energy carry through to the very real families whose lives they sought to touch? He hoped it would, but uncertainty loomed inevitable. Would they really carry through, or would they get lost in the rush? The meeting slowly morphed into a buzz of excitement. Ideas flowed like a vibrant river. He could see energy shift, the atmosphere transforming from sterile concern to a warmer, communal spirit. People were no longer just board members. They were passionate individuals, eager to be part of something that mattered. As discussions swirled around event details, he felt the urge to keep grounded. "Let us not forget Emily," he said, raising his voice to quiet the room. Heads turned, and the newfound excitement gave way to a collective remembrance of their purpose. "She's our reason for this. We need to stay focused on her dreams." A board member nodded. "You're right. This isn't just a fundraiser. It's a statement. We're showing we care." He felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. They were getting it. It was not just about planning a successful event. It was about changing lives, even if just a little. The discussion took a practical turn. What about reaching out to local businesses for sponsorships? Another suggested. They might see value in being part of something bigger. "Exactly," he replied, feeling the heat of inspiration ignite throughout the room. "Not just businesses. Let us involve everyone's schools, neighborhood groups, even local artists. Imagine a festival where the community comes together, where they can share their talents and connect over a common goal. A celebration, not just a meeting," someone chimed in. "Yes, that's the spirit." He felt his heart dance with hope. "Let us celebrate the potential we see in Emily and every child like her. We can inspire them to dream, and we can inspire each other." The chatter grew louder, excitement bubbling as they brainstormed ideas for activities. Art stations for kids, workshops focused on community gardening, food trucks promoting healthy eating. The board members' laughter echoed, mingling with newfound enthusiasm. Yet, in the corners of his mind, the earlier question hovered like a shadow. What if they faltered? What if they didn't reach the families they aimed to inspire? His phone buzzed, breaking through the doubt. It was a text from his colleague, Sarah. "Hey, can't wait to help with this. Count me in for anything. Love the energy." A wave of reassurance washed over him. In her enthusiasm, he found strength. She was a reminder that they were not alone in this. They had each other's backs, and they would navigate the complexities together. He glanced around the room, a renewed sense of purpose igniting in the shared smiles and animated faces. The air thrummed with hope, and he wanted to maintain that pulse. "Let us set deadlines," he suggested. "We'll divide into teams and keep each other accountable." The board members quickly rallied around the idea, eager to dive into the work ahead. As plans solidified, he felt that youthful spark of anticipation rising, the same feeling Emily must have had when envisioning her garden. It warmed him like sunshine on a cold day. But as he settled into the rhythm of planning, his mind drifted back to Emily. Was she out there drawing on the pavement still, dreaming of growing tomatoes and peppers? Did she know that a bunch of adults were rallying for her? Not wanting to lose the momentum, he added, "We'll reach out to her and her family. Let them know we're inspired by her." Imagine what that could mean for her. The room nodded as if lost in the imagined moment. They could be motivators, not just observers. They would take action. As they wrapped up, excitement pulsed through him, but so did a lingering doubt. Could they truly deliver on the promise they had now made to this community? Was the risk of failure worth the dream of shaping lives down the line? And just before they parted, one board member asked, "What if we don't succeed? How do we emotionally support these kids if we fall short?" That question hung in the air, a heavy weight. He could feel his chest tighten, the burden of expectations pressing down. But wasn't that what hope was about? Clutching onto faith in something greater? With that thought churning in his mind, he made a commitment to remain steadfast for Emily and the others, vowing to protect their dreams from being mere shadows. This was just the beginning. But would the fire they lit today be enough to guide them? Would they withstand the pressure as they stepped forward? As the meeting adjourned, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of something profound. Would they meet the challenge ahead, or find themselves doubting on the way? The day of the community event dawned bright and hopeful. The sun warmed the air, and a light breeze rustled the decorations hanging from the trees in the park. It was happening. Everything they had worked for culminated in this moment. Families began to gather, children running gleefully, their laughter piercing through the nervous anticipation in the air. Lily stood at the entrance of the park, her eyes wide with wonder as she took in the vibrant scene. Colorful banners decorated each table, and local vendors set up booths brimming with art, food, and aromatic treats. She felt an electric buzz, a realization that dreams were manifesting right before her. Suddenly, a shadow passed over her, and she looked up to find the CEO approaching, a bright smile breaking through the uncertainty etched on his features. "I'm here, Lily. Ready to make a difference," he exclaimed, holding a box of supplies for the activity stations. Her heart soared, the power of his words igniting her spirit. "Thank you for believing," she replied, gleaming with pride. As the morning unfolded, people from every corner of the community dipped into shared stories, memories woven through moments of laughter and joy. The CEO moved among the families, genuinely engaging with them, listening to their dreams. And it was there amid the whirling laughter and gentle cries of delight that Emily arrived. With her father by her side, she walked toward the event, her eyes sparkling with excitement. The moment Lily spotted her, hope surged within her. "Emily," she called, waving her arms. "Come here." Emily beamed, her heart fluttering at seeing Lily. "I love it," she exclaimed, eyes darting around, absorbing the celebration's energy. "Look at all the colors. Let us create something together," Lily replied, leading her to the garden section, where they could plant seeds. Families joined in, sharing stories of their hopes while tending to the earth. It was a beautiful tapestry of community blossoming around them. But as the flourishes of joy surged, the CEO stole a moment to step back, eyes shining with gratitude. It was like witnessing a masterpiece take shape, families, neighbors, old and young, intertwined in a dance of unity. This was what he had hoped for, but seeing it unfold was breathtaking. Then a familiar voice broke through the joy. "What do you really think you're doing here?" It was one of the board members, storming in like a rain cloud on a sunshine-filled day. The CEO took a breath, steadying himself. "This is about people, not profits. They matter, and we need to show that. But what if this doesn't translate into success?" They scoffed, arms crossed defiantly. He straightened, feeling the weight of countless eyes upon him. "Then we learn from it. But if we succeed in building relationships and trust, that's worth more than any number on a spreadsheet." The board member hesitated, the conviction in the CEO's words beginning to break through the wall of skepticism. As they stood there, the infectious laughter of children and the warm smiles of families filled the air, creating a symphony of hope. The CEO turned back toward the crowd, feeling buoyed by the presence of community. "I'm not backing down," he declared firmly, "and neither should you." With that, the energy shifted. Positivity surged through the attendees like a warm wave, and it became clear that the fears of the past no longer held power over them. As afternoon turned to evening, families gathered for a group photo, capturing the essence of the day. The CEO stood between Lily and Emily, a wide smile breaking across his face. This was more than just a snapshot. This was a moment that would ripple out into the world, marking the beginning of their journey together. Later, as the sun dipped below the horizon, illuminating the park with golden hues, Lily felt a swell of satisfaction. They had done it. Without fear, they transformed despair into joy, proving that kindness and compassion could indeed change lives. The CEO knelt beside her, eyeing the last remnants of laughter echoing across the park. "This is just the start," he said softly, something unyielding in his voice. "Yes," Lily replied, a heart full of gratitude and optimism. "Together, we'll keep it going." And as plans for the next community event formed in their minds, the bond between them solidified, fueled by dreams of a brighter future, one where compassion rang truer than any corporate profit ever could. The next chapter of their lives had begun, but they always hold the laughter of today close to their hearts. They were bound not merely by business, but by the beautiful mosaic of connection they crafted together, a physical embodiment of hope. As the last of the stars twinkled into view, they understood one essential truth. When hope and dreaming collude, amazing things happen. You need to subscribe now to witness more incredible transformations like this one. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this unforgettable ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. The power of community isn't just a story, it's a movement.